Welcome to It's Showtime, new tools for cinematic creators. Hello, I'm Ben Radcliffe. I'll be your presenter today. A bit about me. I am a media and entertainment senior technical specialist. I'm based out of London in the United Kingdom. And if you'd like to contact me after this presentation, you can reach out to me at my email, benra@unity3d.com, or on social media at Light and Alchemy. I have been working at Unity about 2.5 years, and prior to joining Unity, I worked at a variety of studios both in the animation and visual effects industry, studios such as Walt Disney Feature Animation, DreamWorks Animation, and most recently, Lucasfilm and Industrial Light and Magic. I worked on a variety of projects, everything from VeggieTales to Shrek to Transformers to Ninja Turtles to Star Wars and Avengers. So let's take a look at the topics we're going to dive into today. Today we're going to do a high-level overview of Unity's new tools for cinematics creators. First, we'll start with sequences. Sequences is a new workflow tool to keep your movie's editorial content organized, collaborative, and flexible. Then we're going to take a look at the new Virtual Camera Companion app, which is an iOS app for controlling virtual cameras via an iPad or iOS device. Then we're going to look at Unity Recorder and some of the updates we've made there so we can output things like sequences of images, movies, even animation data and sounds. And then we'll finish up looking at our new Face Capture Companion app where you can drive blend shapes and facial expressions using an iOS device. In today's demonstration, I'll be utilizing assets from our Real-Time Rascals asset pack. You can find this asset pack on the Unity Asset Store. Just search for Real-Time Rascals or follow the bit.ly link in the slide. And this asset pack contains a variety of characters and environments as 4 characters: Shanks the Frog, Apple the Panda, Jasper the Badger, Sydney the Rabbit, and 3 environments. There's a cornfield, a rooftop, and a studio. And this creates a bit of a sandbox so you can experiment with different characters in different environments and try experimenting with our cinematics tools to tell and create your own stories. So let's start off with sequences. What is sequences? Sequences is a new workflow tool to keep your movie's editorial content organized, collaborative, and flexible. It allows you to create shots and sequences with just a few clicks. Each cinematic element is an independently editable prefab asset, allowing you to work in parallel and avoid conflicts. Those same prefab workflows allow you to try out and change things non-destructively. It also has recorder integration, so it simplifies rendering output, so you can output shots whether it be by sequence or by shot. And it also gives you an asset organization structure that keeps your timeline and projects tidy. It also provides these new scene activation tracks, which allows you to switch from scenes to scenes and turn them on and off, which is great, and I'll demonstrate that today. Before we dive into sequences, let's take a look at some sequences concepts. Let's start with editorial structure. As you see in the illustration on the right, the master sequence represents the top level of your cinematic. You can create more than one master sequence within the same Unity project. The master sequence also contains several sequences, which can also contain several sequences. So for example, the master sequence could represent a film, a piece of a film, an episode of a television series, or a game cinematic. The second level of the sequences could represent different locations or parts of the stories. And then the third level of the sequence would represent different shots within those sequences. Now let's take a look at sequence assets. A sequence asset represents the creative unit of a sequence. This can be, for example, a character, a camera, a visual effect, or a light rig. Sequence assets are prefabs, so they benefit from a specific configuration structure that make them ready to use in your sequences. You can also create sequence asset variants to safely explore variations of your sequence assets. For example, on the right-hand side, I've created variants of Shanks the Frog so I can easily swap his look from shot to shot. You can see I have a motion capture look, a sci-fi look, a business suit, and his farmer outfit. By default, there are 7 types of asset collections. There are characters for your animated characters, effects for things like smoke, fire, and physical simulations, lighting for your light rigs, photography for cameras and compositing layers, props for all the various accessories, and sets for your environments and backgrounds, and also audio for music or any other sound effects for your stories. So here I am in the Unity editor. I'm in Unity 2021.2. And to use sequences in the cinematic packages, we go to the package manager. And you notice in 2021.2, we now have this cinematic studio option. And this is a collection of 6 packages for linear storytelling. It has timeline, sequences, FBX exporter, Alembic, Cinemachine, and recorder. So I'm in a brand new scene. I've already got that package loaded. So let's go here real quick and let's go under sequencing. You see we have our timeline. I'm going to grab my timeline just like normal. And then there's these two new options. There's sequences. I like to drag this over here to the left. And then we have sequencing, sequence assembly. And I like to drag this over here to the right underneath my inspector. And you can go ahead and save that layout. So what is sequences? Sequences is really, it's a package to efficiently create movies, game cinematics, other linear content. It helps you build and organize structure, add an editorial structure, and assemble self-contained ready-to-use elements for authoring and collaboration. Plus, it basically lets you try new ideas in a non-destructive way. So let's build that structure I'm talking about. Let's start with create master sequence. So you want to start with a create master sequence, and this is your short film, your cinematic, and you can give it any name. I'm going to call it Real-Time Rascals. Well, Real-Time Rascals, the movie, because I'm ambitious, and we're going to make a 1600 shot, 2.5 hour feature right now. And notice right here, it creates this timeline. It creates a master timeline. It creates this object, and it has a little icon, Real-Time Rascals, the movie. And you can see it's really just a game object, and it adds a playable director and this other sequence filter component. So underneath that, let's create some more structure. We right mouse button on it and create a sequence. So in a typical movie or TV show or whatnot, that's kind of the structure. It goes, to show, or which would be the movie, Real-Time Rascals, the movie, or the episode. Sequence, which would be a location, a change in time of day, a change of characters, a change of, story points. And then underneath here, let's create 3 sequences just, because 3 is a lucky number. And we'll create sequence 3. And you can see now it's built that structure for us. And we can click on them here. We can still navigate them the way we used to by double click and navigate in this little trail here. So I have 2 sequences. So it's a 20-second movie right now. So I'll just move these sequences over. You can see I can grab them just like other timelines, and it can change it. So sequence 1, let's add a couple shots under here. So now shots would be, camera shots. Is it a wide shot, a medium shot, a close-up? Is it on one character? Is it on another character? And again, your typical structure, it would be show, sequence, shot. And you can do any structure. You can do 2 levels, 1 level, any structure that really works for you. So now you can see we have this Real-Time Rascals, the movie. We have sequence 1, and then we have 2 shots. And again, I can change the timing of this. You can see this is the length of our sequence. You can see this is dark and gray, and this brightness is the length of our sequence. So I'll just go here, and I'll move these guys over, and I'll stretch them out. So you can see I've shot 1 and shot 2. And I can navigate them here again on this sequences window. So now we get this structure. Let's populate it. Let's add some stuff. So I'll do 1 sequence, and we'll just populate it and add some assets. You can see now this sequence assembly window opens up, and we can start to build assets in here. We can add characters, effects, lighting, photography, cameras, props, sets, audio. And you can see we also have asset collections here, so we can build them before we populate. And I'll show that in another segment. So let's add a set. So I'll say create sequence asset, and I'll say set _ rooftop. And I'm going to use the rooftop asset from the Real-Time Rascals assets. And here under sequence 1. And so what I want to do is I'm going to create this set for the entire sequence. So this set will live just for sequence 1. So set rooftop. I'll go here and I'll go to my prefabs, and I have my rooftop for my Real-Time Rascals. Boom. Here we go. Isn't that lovely? Or I'll turn that grid off as well so we can see. So yeah, it just populates here. And if we go back to that structure now, let's go back to that timeline. Oh, I don't want to lock my project window. We go to our timeline, and you can see as I drag this, it's only for sequence 1. So we can populate things at the show level, at the sequence level, at the shot level. So now I have sequence 1 and I have shot 1 and 2. Let's add some characters. So I'm going to select shot 1. I'm in shot 1 here, and I'm going to add a character. So I'll create a sequence asset, and then I'll say char Shanks. Rename. And now it'll, under shot 1, you can see it creates a little Shanks prefab, and I can go back to my project window, go back to my prefabs, and I can drag and drop Shanks in here. And I can just make sure I apply that override so he stays there. And let's grab Shanks, and for shot 1, he's gonna walk to the door. So we go back to our timeline, and again, sequence 1, 2, and 3. And here we go, sequence 1. He's only in shot 1, so at shot 2, he disappears. And I'll show you, it's easy for populating, so you can populate stuff per shot. And also we can go into him at a character level. We can say Shanks' asset, and we can see we have a little character here, so I can go and I can drag his track just like before. Just like working in timelines, I can create an animation track, grab an animation clip, give him a little breathing. Woo! Hit play. There he is breathing. Okay, that's a little boring. Let's make him happy. I have a happy idle. There we go. We'll drag that here. Actually, let's go. Is his head bouncing around? We'll grab that happy idle. Let's go boom. Let's go in here, happy idle. And I'm going to make that loopable. And I'm just going to drag that here. So now it's a loopable clip. And I can work with this. It's just a normal timeline, really, at the end of the day. So I have Shanks happy idle. There he is. He's happy to be on the rooftop. So now let's go back to our sequence level. And we go to shot 2 and Shanks isn't there. And what's great about this is we've already built this asset. If you look over here in our asset collections, we've built a set and we've built a Shanks. And you can go pre-build this. This is what's really, once you go and fill this out, like I've populated one project with all the real-time Rascal stuff. So I can just click these pluses and just add characters shot by shot. Well, where did Shanks go? Am I in the right thing? Let's see. Oh, I'm not at the sequence level. So let me undo that. And if you do make a mistake, you can hit plus. You can just hit minus and it removes it. So let's go here. Yeah, I meant to do that. So we're at shot 2. We have Shanks happy there. Let's go to shot 2. And now we'll add Shanks. There we go. And we'll just move him down. So you can see here, shot 1, he's by the door. And shot 2, he's just kind of chilling there. So we can go add animation to him and we can go shot by shot. We can add more characters, but I want to show a couple more things. I want to show prefabs and I want to show variants because this is where the magic happens. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to disable this light for now. I'm going to turn this light off because I want to show you how you can do per shot lighting using prefab variant. So I'm going to go create a lighting asset. And I'm just going to call it sun. You can call it day rig. I make light rigs. I'll make like a day rig, a night rig, and so forth and so on. And then prefabs, I've already made a sun because I'm tricky like that. And this is just that prefab sun. So we can just go here and I'll just say apply overrides. Go back to my timeline. And you can see I've created it just for shot 1. So you can see here, ooh, Shanks is super bright. So we want to go and adjust this lighting. So we can say, actually, that's not too bad. Ooh, and Shanks is kind of floating too. So let's move Shanks down. I'll just grab him at this top level. Make sure he's on the ground. And the sun, I don't like that direction. Let's move it around 180 degrees because we're doing real-time lighting and we can do anything we want. There we go. We got a nice long rooftop shadow. There we go. I like that. And let's go to shot 1. Let's go to the sequence level. And now again, we go to shot 2 and we have no lighting. So let's go and let's add this lighting. So we can add that sun. And notice, oh, that's nice. So it's using the original direction because I didn't update it, which is great. And already showing my example is you can go adjust these lights per shot. So now I can go and I can adjust this sun, and you can keep creating variants and keep changing this and creating shots, lighting shot by shot, which is really great. So I'm gonna move him down. And then, yeah, let's tweak that sun a little bit more, because you always want a 3/4 backlight. Secret of the pros, 3/4 backlight. Let's get him, and it's all about shadow shape. So there we go, we can get something in here. So we can keep building this out and going bigger and bigger, but I want to jump into another scene and show some more advanced sequences of what this is like when this is all pre-populated and you're kind of good to go. So that shows the basics of things. So let's jump to another scene. So here we are in another scene, and I've gone ahead and I've already built out some structure, and it's only 3 sequences. We're not going to get to the shot level, but I've named them. We have sequence 1, the cornfield, sequence 2, the rooftop, and sequence 3, the studio. And these are the main real-time Rascal assets. And I want to show you what I've done here is I've built out some asset collections, and I built those variants out already. And I built some light rigs, and I built some sets, and I want to show scene activation tracks. And once you have this stuff built, just how easy it is to put these worlds together. So let's start with this new track, because I love this new thing. It's a scene activation track. And what you can do is, what I like, you can build things as prefabs, but you can also load and unload scenes. So you can see here, I can grab a scene, and I've already built, and this is how I like to work. I've already built a scene of my cornfield, and I can go ahead and load that. And you can see right away, I have my cornfield, and it's all built in here. And this is what I like to work, because it's a little bit more collaborative, and I can do a lot more stuff in a scene. It's a little bit easier to track. Especially for interiors, I can build lighting, I can bake lighting, I can do all stuff. So let's add another scene activation track, and we'll make this one the length of the rooftop. And we'll go through that process. I've already made a rooftop sequence, and it's really just the prefabs, just with more stuff. And again, you have to hit this little load button, and you can see, boom, boom. And I could have lighting in here. What I like to do sometimes is when I build this stuff, I build the lighting in here, like the environment lighting, and then I do the shot-by-shot character lighting as prefabs. So let's go scene activation track, and let's do a third one, because this third scene does have lighting. So we'll see here, and we'll go studio, and let's go studio A. Live from studio A, and this is that real-time Rascals. Well, I got 2 things loaded. There we go. We're swapping. So you can see now it's activating and deactivating, and we have these scene files. So you can do a lot of complex things in here. So I have cornfield, rooftop, and I have studio. And the studio has lighting. So you can see how you can do different things. And I like to work this way because it's with big sets and environments, you can check them in, check them out, work collaboratively. So now let's add a character. And let's add it at the sequence level. So I'll go here to cornfield, and notice I have my characters populated. I have Shanks, Sydney, Jasper, Apple. Let's go Sydney this time. And notice I got Sydney in here. And the cool thing about Sydney is I've already created variants for him. So you can see here, I can swap between these variants. Well, and that one's located over there. So let's get rid of him. Well, I got one variant that he's jumping over for some reason, but that's okay. I was playing around with him earlier. Let's delete him. And again, if we want to delete, we'll just go here. I'll go character, and let's go Apple. And I got my Apple here, and I also have my Apple Sci-Fi. So I don't have any lighting here. Let's add some lighting. So let's go to our sequence level, and well, let's go to each shot, and let's add a character per shot sequence. So here I'll add Shanks. And Shanks in a farmy outfit on the rooftop doesn't work, so we can make him sci-fi, or we could make him, let's make him business. He's dressed for success. And then in the studio, we'll go back and, well, did I put him at the shot level or the sequence level? No, I put Shanks at the sequence level because I was clicking on my master sequence. So again, I put him at the wrong level. We can just delete that here. And then I select the rooftop, and then I can add the character. So I can add Shanks here, and I can dress him for success. Let's go one more, and let's do another character here. And again, we'll go Sydney again. But we'll keep Sydney in his suit, and he's dressed for success as well. So you can see, oh, and did I put Sydney at the suit level? I did. I did the same thing again. So again, we can just grab him, and we can remove him. Good, happy accident. You guys can learn from my mistakes. And then I can add this character here at the level, and we can change that suit. The other thing I did was, let's go here and add a sequence level. We can add lighting. So I'm going to go ahead and add a lighting. So I made an outdoor light rig. You can see here right off the bat, I have this like daytime. Let's go here, or I could go to sunset. Ooh, that's a little bit nuclear for a sunset. Or I made a nighttime rig. So it's 3/4 backlit, and you can make, and they're just prefab variants. So you can, change them up, and I can go back to Shanks's. We don't want her in the sci-fi, and let's go back to that original rig. There we go. So, and let's go add a light rig per. So let's go here. Let's go back to our level, and let's go number 2. And do we want to go rooftop? And do we want him to be nighttime maybe? But again, we have daytime here. Sunset. Woo, that's nice. Nighttime. So we'll leave him nighttime. And then the other one already has lighting built in at the scene level. So you can see here, and I can go at any time, and I can go and I can grab Shanks. So we can go at the rooftop level, and I can still grab him, and I can change his to mocap. I can change to sci-fi. I can change anything. And we can still go ahead and change these levels as well, which I think is what's really great is this activation track. So let's go here and let me change this environment. Let's go Studio, I think C is good. And I'll go load that. Whoop. There we go. And now we're in our mocap studio. So let's move him off the side. I'm just having some fun here. So let's grab Sydney. I'm gonna grab Sydney and let's go boom. And let's add Sydney here. And let's add another character to the studio because I have Shanks. And he has a motion capture outfit for his motion capture session. So there we go. And this is just showing you some of the more advanced stuff and how flexible this stuff gets once you start playing with it. And now I can start to populate this out at a shot level, start adding cameras, and start really, this is where the power of these sequences tools really come in. So let's jump over and let's add a virtual camera to the mix and have some fun with that. Let's now take a look at the new Unity Virtual Camera Companion app. So what is a virtual camera? The new Unity Virtual Camera is an iOS app that leverages Apple's AR kit to drive the movement of a camera in the Unity editor using real-world feedback from your iOS device in the real world. You can use this capability to shoot scenes in an organic handheld style with intuitive control over things like depth of field, zoom, motion dampening, and more. It also has a take system, and you can work directly in timeline and even build up a shot over multiple takes. For example, tracking your motion in one shot and then pulling focus in a separate take. So I'm back in Unity, and I want to show you this virtual camera app. If you go to the package manager and go to live capture, you can get the face capture and the virtual camera package. So I'm here and I'm back in that scene we just created with Apple the Panda. And I'm just going to go ahead and open my virtual camera app. And notice I've already got it connected. I've gone through the process and already set it up. You can follow the documentation, but if you can see, I'm holding my camera, and what it's doing, it's tracking my camera to the position of the iPad. It's using ARKit and using the cameras and the sensors to track the position, 6 DOFs of position, rotation, tilt, all that. And I can basically use this as a virtual camera, and on my device, I'm streaming and I'm looking at a thing in the world. So I can even go ahead and hit play, and I have different controls on here. I can point in the camera, I can track in, I can slowly use the tracking, I can move the camera up, I can move the camera down, I have different lens controls, I can zoom in, I can zoom out, and it's just like filming a movie, and I'm looking at stream on my device. And I have all sorts of controls. I can add dampening, I can turn dampening off if I want to shoot a Jason Bourne movie, but I'm going to turn dampening on so it's a little bit smoother. So right now I'm filming, Real-Time Rascals the Bourne. Now I have a little dampening. You can see it gives a little sway and a little give, which is nice. I can, lock and enable my rotations, and I can change the scale if I'm shooting in a world. I'm shooting in a virtual world, so sometimes you want to become small and sometimes you want to become big, so you get greater camera depth. Yeah, and along the top I have my sensor information, I have time on the time code, I have different focus modes, I have f-stop control, zoom mode. I can even go in here, I don't have depth of field applied. Well, there we go. I actually reset the depth of field. So let's clear that. And you can apply post-processing and you can have real-time depth of field, and you can do things like focus planes, and you can record this stuff in multiple takes. So you don't need to record all in one take. So you can record the position with one pass, you can focus pull on another pass, and you can layer and get the best of both worlds of these takes. So go ahead, download this, pull it into here, record some takes, have some fun, and shoot some handheld real-time Rascals movies. Now let's take a look at the Unity Recorder. What is the recorder? The recorder is an editor-only tool that allows you to record images or video of your project. Essentially, it's how you get your pictures and your frames or your movies out of Unity and save them to disk. You can export video as H.264, WebM, ProRes. You can write sequential frames as PNG, JPEG, or EXR. It also has support for new accumulation motion blur for a higher quality cinema quality motion blur. It has support for arbitrary output variables, so you can output things like diffuse, specular, or normal passes for compositing later. It also allows you to export animation data through .anim, FBX, and Alembic caches for bringing into an external DCC later. And you can also export audio tracks in the WAV format. So now we've finished our Real-Time Rascals feature film, and we're ready to release it into the world. So how do we get pictures out of Unity? Well, we have what's called the Unity Recorder. If you go to Window, General, Recorder, Recorder window, you have this recorder. We don't render frames because everything's rendering already 30, 60, 90 frames a second. We just have to record the pictures that are there. And we can record different things. We can record movies, image sequences, AOVs. We can also record other things like audio, and we can record motion out of here like FBX and Alembics. So let's take a look at this movie. So the first thing we want to do is we want to set our frame interval. We can set it manual, and we can record the whole thing. We can render single frame, or we can render just per shot or per sequence. And this is where sequences comes in, and sequences is great. So I can say record as, and you can see it automatically populates this frame interval for me. Then I can select my target FPS. We could do a 24 frames a second like a classic Disney film, 30 frames a second, or 60 frames a second like a Lord of the Rings feature. And then we have all these different options. We can go 4K, we set custom resolutions, we have custom cameras, custom aspect ratios, we have options for different motion blur, and we have different file formats. We can go MP4, WebM, or ProRes. We can also do image sequences. We can see we do PNGs, JPEGs, and EXRs, which is great. And AOVs. So if you want to output different passes for compositing later, we can output beauty, albedo, normals, ambient occlusion, specular, everything you need to take into an external compositing program. And like I said, you can also record out, if you're doing an audio track and you want to mix into a separate audio program, you can output the audio separately. And you can also output caches, geometry caches. So if you put together a bunch of animation in here, you can output an FBX or an Alembic. And what I do is sometimes if I do like a physics simulation or something in Unity and I want to simulate something in Houdini against that, I'll output the Alembic cache and I'll bring that into Houdini and then I can simulate against that. So we have all these different options, and when we're done, I'm going to remove some of these so I don't write everything out, but we can just go here and delete. And I can just hit start recording. Now let's look at our new Face Capture Companion app. Face tracking is an incredibly useful feature on modern mobile devices. iOS's ARKit in particular does a great job of capturing expressions. For an animator, capturing this information and applying it to a character can turn the work of dozens of hours into a few minutes. Unity's Face Capture app allows you to use your Face ID-enabled iPhone or iPad to capture, preview, and record performances and bind them to a model. We think the applications for movies and games will be immense, saving artists untold hours. So let's take a look at our face capture app, and we'll take a look at our face capture sample project. You can access this from the package manager, and you can go to the package manager and search for live capture, and underneath is this sample project. You can just click import here. It'll import into your project in this directory called samples, live capture, and it'll give the little version number in a directory called ARKit face sample. And in here is everything you need to test out the face capture app. So let's load up this face capture sample scene right here. I'll just double click on that. And you can see inside my project, I have the sample head prefab. I have a take recorder. And the sample head prefab, it's using the ARKit's 52 face shapes, blend shapes. And you can see how to structure your head. And basically, it's just a prefab here with this ARKit face actor going to this face mapper here. And there's instructions in the documentation on how to set this up, but it's really straightforward. Once I'm ready to go, I can launch my face capture app. So I want to create a connection between my phone and my face capture session. So I go to connections, and right here I can just hit start. And then I can launch my app on my phone. Here we go. I'm going to make sure that I'm in live mode, and then I hit connect. And here I am. Hello, 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 hello. And you can see it maps your faces right here. And if you want to record a take, you can just click this button right here and start recording. And the great thing about this, you can give a shot name here, a scene number, a take number, but you can record your faces on this generic face. And then you can, when you get your character model built, you can then remap these facial expressions right onto your character model. If this blinks, I got my glasses on. I can stop recording when I'm done. All right. I'll go here, and we can go to our timeline, and I can click on this take that I just did here. We go here, make sure I get this timeline, and then we can play it back. And you can just play it back, and it records just a .anim clip that we're used to, just like any other animation recording we do in Unity. So you can name your sessions and do all your facial performances and record them here. Here are some additional resources for exploring our cinematic creator tools on your own. You can download our Michelle sample project here at unity.com/demo/Michelle Cinematics. We have a sample project and a short film for you to watch. You can also join us for our Road to Real-Time series. It's a comprehensive series of webinars where we explore the real-time storytelling process step by step. We go through every step of the process, all the way from the beginning in previs to asset creation, look dev, lighting, effects, post-processing, animation, and more. You can also follow the Road to Real-Time series and the Real-Time Rascals project on social media at Light and Alchemy on Twitter and Instagram. Please share your creations that you make with the Real-Time Rascals using hashtags Road to Real-Time and Real-Time Rascals. Thank you very much for joining our session today.